accompanied by mascots, the captains bringing out the sides. Alice Varela of France, Eliana Walton of Cook Islands. And again, we see plenty of colour within the crowd, both sides having their supporters, a lot of neutral support as well. And the atmosphere for the last few games here at the LNER Community Stadium has certainly been rocking at times, certainly when the French supporters have been in. We'll see if they are in fine voice this evening. Many a rendition of their national anthem throughout the games. And that is what brings us to what will be going on next, of course, the national anthems of both of these sides. France against Cook Islands ahead of this final Group B encounter for them here at the Rugby League World Cup. Show me a national anthem that's sung with more gusto than the French. We've got a group of French supporters just away to our right-hand side here, and you can probably hear them chanting in the background. So that's the passion of the French. Let's have a look at the side. Plenty of experience for them. Elisa Syria and captain Alice Varela in the halves. Vice-captain Elisa Akper, who had a spell at York in the Super League, goes into the second row. Chloe Guerrero comes in at full-back. So for Cook Islands, with injury to Kimiora Braley Natai, Annika Stevens partners Kerry Matua in their halves. That means Tetuani Dean returns at hooker. Captain Eliana Walton leads from the back of the pack. So we get ready for the game to start. But before that, of course, we've got the Cook Islands with their cultural performance, the Peye. So we've had the passion of the French national anthem, we've had the passion of the cultural performance from Cook Islands. Let's see how that passion unfolds for the next 80 minutes. Both these sides looking for their first win of the tournament. One side looking for their first points of the tournament. The first meeting ever as well between France and Cook Islands. Over the next 80 minutes, we'll find out who will avoid the wooden spoon in Group B here at the Women's Rugby League World Cup. The referee is Ben Thaler this evening, familiar in the British Super League. The video referee is Grant Atkins. And alongside me this evening will be Danica Breen, the former England international. So we are ready for this game to start. Before that, of course, we will have the 13 seconds, the moment of togetherness ahead of kickoff, which is being observed right throughout the whole of the 3 World Cups. Showing there's no place for discrimination right throughout it, and literally what it says, everyone together, the moment of togetherness. The 13 seconds will be observed. The crowd's really receiving these well throughout the last few weeks. And I'm sure this evening will be no different.
For the next 13 seconds, let us come together and mark this moment. Either standing, if you are able, sitting, applauding, or singing. It's our game. It's one game. Together. Thank you.
So the 13 seconds observed, France against Cook Islands. Group B, round 3 of the Women's World Cup. Pride at stake for both, points at stake as well. And it'll be Cook Islands to start things with Kerry Matua with the long kick downfield, taken cleanly by France, and up and away for Mansard for the first carry for France, and a penalty awarded early as well. A great start for France, Danica Breen.
Yeah, absolutely. What a way for France to make their impact in this game. They need a strong, hard carry, and that's exactly what's happened here. And just a little bit of a high tackle there going in France's favour. Nothing really in it, but what a perfect way for France to start, really putting the gauntlet down.
And the need to as well for their own confidence. France had a torrid evening, really. That's probably not doing it justice against Australia, who were absolutely superb when they played on Sunday evening. France need a solid start for their own confidence.
I think both these teams do. Look, they had a really tough round in round 2, playing Australia and New Zealand respectively, so they both are coming with a little bit wounded, but it wasn't unexpected. So it's just about how they can fix up today and they can go forward. Neither got much possession, so that's where it's going to be key today. I want to see sets, I want to see completed sets, I want to see kick chase.
So France then, the ball goes back to Varela. Here's Syria, little pass to Montserrat. Inside the Cook Islands, half of the field. Ramos at acting half. The ball goes to Syria. She keeps it moving to Lauriane Biville. She's a player who had time at Wigan this season in the Women's Super League. Played on this ground before as part of that Wigan side as well in the league. The ball goes back to Syria, did well there just to hold that. The kick comes in high. Cook Islands happy to let that ball bounce, and France penalised for offside.
Well, Cook Islands have got away very luckily there, because I'm not sure she had a clue what was going on. She turned around. I'm not sure if there's a little bit of communication coming from somewhere, but or lack of, should that be for Cook Islands. But the chap there just to stay still. I didn't have her eye on the ball, but they were lucky to scrape away with that.
Yeah, a little unusual as well to have her back to the kick as well.
I think she just told that it was mine, and she said to stay there to protect it, but actually the ball fell short, and in fact it just fell by her knees.
We saw quite a few times against New Zealand from the Cook Islands. They were happy to let the ball bounce from kicks like that. A couple of times they were nearly badly punished for it. New Zealand nearly taking advantage of it on a couple of occasions, but they did get away with it. But Cook Islands in possession now with Moale. Pushing towards the French 20. Dean urging a quicker play of the ball. Goes out to Tanavisi. Tanavisi tackled well there inside the 20. Dean again acting half. Sends a pass out towards her left. Good drive, the ball comes loose. France almost with an opportunity there to pop back up with it. And they've got the possession back, and Dean has to turn attack into defence.
Great defensive set there from France to hold Cook Islands out. There's some really big middles for the Cook Islands, and they're not getting much meterage, but the yardage they are getting is drawing in the defence. So France got sucked in defensively there, but to force that error there, like we can see, there's a couple of bodies in there. There's 2-3 more join, forces the offload, and France come up good with it.
So France then trying to drive their way outside of their own 20 at the moment. Ramos at acting half. Takes it on the short side. She's got support, plenty of numbers. Here's Baville. Offloads, finds Song Pooch. She's met by the big figure of Caroline Tanavisi. The tackle's made just short of the 40. Ramos. Back towards the centre of the field, finds Alverne. Good work from Cook Islands. Again, Ramos to Syria. Long kick downfield, taken cleanly by Tuana at fullback. No problems there for Cook Islands. And again, they try and drive forward. Both sides just really finding each other out at the moment.
Yeah, really good to note there, France's kick chase. You know, we had a really big kick coming through. The Cook Islands are letting it bounce. We say taking it cleanly off a bounce, but that bounce is going to be crucial with the kick chase that France just had then. That could be where, you know, France might gain a little bit more meterage or regain possession later on in this game.
So Cook Islands with the ball. She looks like she's hurt as well, the player who's carried it, Samara, straight down on her knees, making sure she's not in too much discomfort. And both of these sides have struggled with injury throughout this tournament. I don't think either side really will be fielding what would have been their first 13 had they had the option.
Look, I've got to say it, you know, as fantastic as this tournament has been and as inclusive it's been, the turnaround for this women's games is still very small compared to the men's. So we're looking at, you know, whoever wins tonight and you know, out of, well, both Australia and New Zealand, will be playing again on Monday, you know, and the turnaround for that is so short, and that's the longest turnaround they've had. So there's pressure on the bodies when they're carrying knocks. Look, the Cook Islands and the likes of Papua New Guinea didn't bring the full 24 woman squad, so they're struggling with rotations, and then the turnaround, tired bodies. They've also got a bit of age in here to think about, as much as I like to ignore that factor there. But you just don't want to see that. It's horrible to see an injury, but these women are struggling, and we saw it with England last night. You know, they've rested a few bodies. They're taking Courtney Winfield-Hill off the field a little bit earlier. You know, she's pushing on a little bit mid-30s now, so she needs a rest. It'll be the same across the board for all of these.
Interestingly as well, the substitutions have been increased, haven't they, in the women's? It's 10 rotations as opposed to, I think it's 8, isn't it, for the men's? And clearly they've got that in mind. They're aware of the short turnaround. At least that's in there, but it doesn't help matters overall. No,
the women's have always had 10 interchanges, so that's what the game is used to, particularly here in the UK for the Super League. So, but it's not just that. There's not very often. You know, we talk about the men's Super Leagues, don't we? And we talk about how they have those back-to-back games or the Easter weekend or however it might be. This is what these girls are putting up with, but in a major tournament.
Well, Mackenzie Wickie back on her feet, thankfully, and thankfully going to rejoin her teammates as well. She'll stay in the game. You could see from the tackle, she was just head just bent forward. If you can hyperextend your neck, I think that's probably the way I would describe what happened to her. So it's good to see her back on her feet and still able to take part.
Bit rough and tumble in this rugby league game. We love to see it though, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
The hits are hard.
Yeah, that's what we all come for. So France having to defending well as well. A good tussle there going on with Ronga Heyer in possession for Cook Islands. Here's Matua, short ball, half a gap as well. Cook Islands break through. I think it's the gap to Boona going forward. She's got some pace for a prop, that player. This is the last of the set for Cook Islands. Turn it back towards the centre with Matua, keeping it moving. Long ball goes out wide. Cook Islands looking good, driving towards the line. There, is that the first try? Is the ball down? The referee saying the player is held up. Great work from the French defence, but great go forward as well from Cook Islands.
Lauriane Baville saving the day, absolutely fantastic. I'm going to put that down to all her time with Wigan Warriors there and the girls she's been working with, but what a fantastic run by the Cook Islands there. The French are going a little bit too high defensively. There's not a chance they're going to stop these girls unless they get hit low and they hit in numbers.
Charlize Tumu Makara, the player denied there with the try. Great defence as well again from Cook Islands, keeping France well back. Mansard on the end of that huge push from the defence. And France have work to do to try and get outside their own 10. There's Akpa, another player who spent time in the Women's Super League in England for York. She'll be familiar with these surroundings. As again, a huge tackle comes in, just again.
Piggyback tackle, that one, Sharon.
Looking to get the ball away, and I don't think she realised there was a player coming from behind right around her shoulders. The kick, again, taken safely by Tuana. And Cook Islands with the ball. France not quite pushing up as much in attack yet in the way we've seen from Cook Islands.
No, I was about to say, you know, in yardage, they're throwing that ball around a little bit too much. I want to see some one-up plays from France. I want to see the settle, get up the middle of the park, get out of yardage, and then set something up to move this ball around, because you just cannot risk throwing the ball around with these big Cook Islanders coming at you at full pace.
So Cook Islands again, inside the French 30, and the ball stolen and taken away by Mansard. The referee, I think, just potentially bringing play back. Giving a handover, I think, there.
I think it was ripped out, a one-on-one maybe. Oh, just about, wasn't it? They got off just in time. And then France have gained possession. But I want to see now. Oh no, it's gone to Cook Islands.
Yeah, I think it was potentially knocked on as it was ripped out there. But yeah, Cook Islands back in possession, driving forward. 20 metres out from the line. Putting an early pressure on France. Batua. Ball goes out towards the left, can't be taken cleanly. In there with the tackle of France, and that is a knock-on. This will be a French ball.
That's what I want to see more of. You know, we've seen the knock-on, but we're still going until that whistle. France are really pushing up and pushing out. And look, Cook Islands can really move this ball around. Just unfortunate not to get her fingertips to that, but that's good pressure, good chat coming from France, and adding the pressure on that, you know, somebody screaming that you're coming for you, you're bound to fumble.
Lavinia Kitai just not quite able to get ball to hand to keep that a smooth ball going out towards the centres where Tupu Wichman was waiting for it. France's defence doing its job, and a penalty awarded to France at the scrum.
Well, nice. I want to see France do something with this now. I want to get some yardage up, get it down the middle, and just push forward. This 1, 2, 3 first push, and then we'll start playing.
The experience of Mansard. She gets to her feet and plays that ball. Bit of a dummy coming from Ramos before offloading to Alverne. Most of the game so far, still early stages, but most of the game so far being played in the French half of the field. A tackle in from Tanavisi. And France try and roll on again with Syria. Ball away to Montserrat. She's brought down just short of the halfway line. France really doing it tough, trying to get outside their own half at the moment. And it's moved now along the line to Varela. Big hit coming in there again from Nagatapuna. And this is the last of the set for France. Just outside the Cook Islands 40. Syria with the kick. Underneath it is Tuana. And again, Cook Islands try and come forward. Still, it's almost cagey at times, this.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a bit of a settler, isn't it? We're going, we're settling it down, and France just seem slightly more composed. They're maybe not getting out of yardage as much as you like to see them doing. They're going up that middle, which is probably the area they want to avoid. They want to probably run the hits up, maybe on an edge a little bit where the slightly smaller players are, where they can outpace them. But it's a little bit, you know, evenly weighted at the minute, I'd say.
And very much up the middle. You're saying about shifting it out to the edge. We've not really seen that yet, have we?
No, not at all. And we've seen this edge of France and what it's capable of, you know, with Christina and Lauriane Baville on this edge. I know there's pace there, so they need to get it out here and they can move up this field.
So Cook Islands with the play of the ball away to Walton. Keeps it alive to Matua. Brought down there well by the French. This is the last of the set. Better in defence from France. Dean takes it from acting half herself with the offload. Cook Islands try and ship it out wide, try and find that gap. Keeping it moving nicely as well, evading the tackle. Back towards the centre of the field. Have lost a few yards of Cook Islands before that kick comes in. Well taken there, beautifully taken there by Song Poosh. And France back with that ball. Oh, stolen, penalty. Penalty given by the referee.
2 in there. I really want to see Song Poosh really go. Like when she gets a little bit of space and she gets some up this edge, she'll fly, but it's if you need to back herself a little bit more. She's heading there straight back into the middle where all of the big Cook Islanders are, and she's a tiny girl herself, but she's got the pace. Turn yourself around, come up this edge, and ultimately just back yourself to get through.
Well, France played England in a mid-season international. That one was won by England, but France gave England a bit of a scare that day.
Yeah, absolutely, and it came down the set that we're talking about now, you know, and they really put it to them. France did their work, and they did the homework on it, and they stopped England in that first 20-25 minutes, so we know that they've got the capabilities. Definitely put a marker in.
Alverne with the carry for France. The French supporters getting a little agitated, it seems, as Ramos takes it into that line. Oh, well hit there by Tanavisi of Cook Islands.
Ramos will do that all day. She'll go for the dummy, and if that gap opens up for her, I know she's through, but it's about preserving bodies at the minute, and they just need to make sure that they've got a long time left to go in this game, and hitting up that middle and hitting to those big plays is not going to help.
Syria breaks free from the tackle. Looked like she had hesitation initially, but it's paid off for her, and the ball's kept alive as well. France shipping it out wide. Will this be their first try of the tournament? Going for that line, keeping it moving. Not quite there yet. Syria again on the ball. Is she down? The referee saying held up. Good work, though, coming by the France attack.
Oh, that was great, wasn't it? It's a little bit scrappy, a little bit ad hoc, but they just kept that ball moving. And that comes from some great kind of spotting in the gaps, and unfortunate not to get herself over and down, but we've seen now what France are capable of. They're shipping this ball out. We said on the edges, France need to work the edges, keep away from that middle pack, and that's where the success is going to come. So let's hope that they're picking that up now, and they're going to chat to each other and either ship it, work down one edge and get it shipped all the way across and kind of move the defence. I'll just go for that short ball.
A lively start from Syria. The chip comes in, though, taken by Cook Islands. And Walton tackled back inside her own in-goal area, the dropout forced.
What a fantastic defensive effort there, absolutely brilliant. And there she is, that Wigan Warriors girl, pretending she's even from here now. Lauriane Baville is absolutely making a mark there just to get that down.
So Matua prepares to take the dropout. Great work there from France in defence. So Matua just organising her team around it as the dropout goes extremely short, and that's not even found the 10.
Yeah, just need to settle this down. This is one of your... I'm not a kicker, so it's really quite offensive for me to say that, but it's some of your basics, isn't it, that you expect certain people in certain roles to be able to do, and that's got to be one of them there.
Driving forward then, France with a big carry. The tackle's made right in front of the post. Mansard gets to her feet, plays the ball to Ramos. Syria with ball in hand, keeping it moving. Half a dummy sold there by France, not bought by Cook Islands. Great work coming through from the defence. But France, 5 metres out from the line. Ramos to Alverne, steps off the foot, drives forward. Again, Cook Islands in there with the tackle. Ramos having to wait for Alverne to get to her feet. And again, it's Syria with that ball in hand. She sees the gap and goes for it. Closed down there by Kerry Matua.
I tell you, as a prop forward, I saw that gap too, and I thought, let's go.
Ramos goes from acting half. Ramos is through. She got that ball down. No, says the referee. She's just held short as well, but France extremely close. Will this be the first points of the tournament for them? And that's a knock-on at the feet of Syria. Not the best of balls to her. Not much she could do with it. But France's momentum absolutely stopped.
Oh, you know, huge defensive effort there from the Cook Islands to hold them out for such a long time, you know, and getting a repeat set in that area. Just unfortunate not just to compose yourself a little bit. France probably a little bit too shallow, probably want a bit of a deeper ball there, which gives them more time to move it around and then to move forward. But, you know, fantastic defensive effort from the Cook Islands.
So here we go again with Moana trying to drive their way through. Was that a boot I saw? Yep, a boot that's gone straight in back play. Someone will limp back to get that.
No, they're ideal, isn't it?
Never. As a penalty is given again. This time it goes to Cook Islands. And this will relieve pressure a little on the territory. As we just see the effort coming in again from France.
Slightly tipped there, ever so slightly. You know, and that's what we talk about the safety of this game. You know, it's rough, it's tumble, it's what you want to see, but ultimately player welfare and safety is at the forefront of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think just enough done by the defence on Tupu Wichman to pull out of that to make it safe, but the legs had certainly been lifted.
It's
above
marginal,
the hips.
isn't it? It's very marginal.
Yeah, I think players seem to know, don't they, when they've done it, but can't stop themselves.
You can feel it in the change of weight. To be fair, you can definitely know when you've. Often you put your hands up and just say, "Whoopsie."
I love it when the voice of experience kicks in, having been in that situation.
Me, never.
So Cook Islands with the ball, driving through again the centre with Walton. Cook Islands very much as we saw against New Zealand, using their forwards to try and batter their way up the centre of the field.
The success that they're having down the middle is much more than France, and France need to pick up on this just in order to preserve their bodies.
Yeah, certainly managing to gain a lot of metres by going, as you can see there on average already. Cook Islands with the nod with those figures. So this is the last of the set. The ball goes back, kick for the corner, underneath it again is Songpoosh, and she happily, gleefully takes that with the restart with the tap on the 20. The referee saying you just took it a little bit too quick there, just getting Cook Islands back on side.
Do you know, this is basics, just from the centre of the field, on your line. This is basics though, they know this. Let's not rush it. There's plenty of time left on the clock. It's 0-0. Don't give away silly things like that.
Is it sometimes that a team is trying to catch their opposition cold by taking it so quickly? I mean, the times you see referees take it back, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. What you want is you want your fullback or your winger to get out of that area as quick as you can and take the tap and just get gone before the defence has reset. But, you know, it's very fine art. Like I say, we talk about them 1%ers.
And France find the breakout on that far side. But Annelle Mounier brought down, couldn't take the ball with her, and that's a real tussle going on there between Matua and Bianchini out on the far side.
We'd like a bit of fun really, Sharon, come on. We've missed it in the women's game. It does happen, people, it does happen.
It does. It does. We've all seen it. We're just not in the World Cup yet. So Cook Islands with the ball inside the France 40. Dean again urging for a quick play of the ball, and a penalty given as well. Heard the hooter for the set restart, but a penalty actually given to Cook Islands this time.
I think that's been a long time coming for both sides. We've been testing the referee, we've been testing Ben Thaler out there just to see the limit on laying down and holding down, and it takes, unfortunately, sometimes it takes you just one penalty just to figure out what the limit is and where it's at, and that probably was just a little bit too far.
Although I think is it Ramos there probably had a right of appeal. It looked like her shirt was being hung onto as Wiki got to her feet to play that. But either way, it's Cook Islands.
If you can't see it, it didn't happen.
Cook Islands with the possession inside the 10. Still looking for the first points in this game. Tap and a drive. Taking play close to the line. France having to go forward in 2s and 3s as some strong runs come through from Cook Islands, and there's a drive in. The referee wants to check this one. Nagatapoona thinks she scored for Cook Islands. It will go up to video referee Grant Atkins, and a try given on the field.
Video referee to match director. We have an on-field decision of try, tackle 1. Please see all available angles for the grounding. Just go slow. So no vision of the ball there. If we can please get another angle, vision of the ball. Can I please see another angle? Vision of the ball, please. Okay, slow here. We can see the ball there, grasp. Keep rolling it through. We lose sight of the ball, and then we see it there on the ground. Are there any other available angles, please? Okay, based on the live decision of try, there's insufficient evidence to overturn. Thank you. I'm happy I've seen all the angles I need.
So again, everyone looks at the screen for the decision, and it's a try, the opening try of the game, going to Cook Islands, and it's April Nagatapoona who scores the second try of the tournament for them. They're leading France 4-0.
And that's been a long time coming, hasn't it? And we've talked about the strength that the Cook Islands have in that forward pack, and that's it. Look at that. A little chip off underneath and a bouldering run. Just powers her way over. It's not so much skillful, just a sheer power, strength and determination to get over. And, that turning of the hips there that came from the hooker to show that it was going out wide, switched it back under. France had already turned off, so they were kind of following the ball rather than the players around them. And it would have taken a few more bodies to stop her anyway, wouldn't it?
I think Fanny Ramos certainly knew that she'd been handed off as Nagatapoona went over for that one. Just 19 years old, a strong player, a strong running forward. Made a debut this year. Yeah, debut this year in the NRLW. The conversion will be taken by Kerry Matua. Didn't manage to add the extras to the try that was scored against New Zealand. So let's see if she has more success this evening. She does. Cook Islands underway 6-0 against France.
Well, look, we've had nearly 20 minutes of this game gone now, and that's been the first point on the board. I think it's gone in France's favour more so, but like we said, all it's taken for Cook Islands is a good strong run. They got that penalty, they got the field possession, and all they did was send in their battering rams down that middle, and that's where France really need to fix it up or move away from it.
It feels like Cook Islands haven't had too many opportunities on that French line, but they've certainly made them count when they've been down there. France not quite unlocking the Cook Islands defence in the same way when they've been inside the Cook Islands 10. Let's see what they can manage this time in defence with the kickoff that goes long downfield, taken by Matua, and coming charging through there again, we've seen Agata Puna.
I was looking for the offload there, so France are really lucky that they just held it off, but that's where they need to be careful. Defence in numbers is where France is going to win this ruck.
First French substitution, Cindy Mansard going off for a break. Melis Borak coming on. She'll add some size and strength as well to the French forwards. But at the moment, it's Cook Islands who are winning that forward battle. There's Walton, a World Cup winner twice with Australia in 2013 and 2017. She brings the experience to the Cook Islands side as the ball is played to Dean. Agata Puna again involved, little layoff this time. And it's Kitai. Good work by France, taking her back 2 or 3 metres back inside her own half. You can just see a little bit of niggle sometimes at the tackle coming in as well there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a battle.
Oh, as the ball comes back inside, that will be picked up by France. It's knocked on, I think, somewhere there. But half a break coming from Cook Islands. France reacting well.
Yeah, like you talk about, we go back, nobody's going to win a World Cup from this competition, but the pride and the ego that's at stake here is massive, and nobody wants to be that bottom finishing team in this pool. And so, no, there's no World Cups going to be won here, but there is certainly something out for each other's blood, and that's where they're going to be looking at going today.
We saw the corresponding game yesterday in Group A between Canada and Brazil, and that was a real contest between those two, playing for pride and points. Canada coming out on top in that game in Group A.
Ever so marginally in the last 9 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah, very late try, wasn't it, as Cook Islands come charging forward again. Just inside the French 30. Moale. Dean takes a place at acting half. It goes out to Tanavisi. Brought down just outside the 10. Steady progress from Cook Islands. Playing the basics, straight hard runs. Here's Matua going forward, almost opening up for Matua. The French are in there with the tackle, and the referee blows the whistle and gives the ball to France. Obstruction, he rules.
Yeah, and that's again that Cook Islands, that play they're going for back underneath, and unfortunately you've got a dummy runner that's going forward, so you can see on here they're set up, they've got options, they've got 4 options either side, and what they've gone for is they've stepped out, looked for the back underneath, but already player in the way, so just obstruction there. We saw it coming, and if you're going to run that dummy line, you've got to keep running and circle yourself back around. You can't run and stop, and that's where that little bit of experience really they need to just pick up on.
So again, France trying to come outside their own half. Great ball there, finds Biville. She releases Songpouche, or tries to, but the defence comes across with cover. Great work from Stevens from Cook Islands. France trying to just play a little bit sharper, picking up the pace with the ball. Alverne is brought down. Tanavisi is there for Cook Islands. Scruffy played the ball that, and a penalty given to France. Certainly interference there as Alverne tried to get to her feet.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a little bit tasty in the ruck and the tackle there, isn't it? And listen, like they're going to just want to do anything they can, and they're testing the waters and they're pushing the limits, but just got to be a little bit more careful.
There's Borak, a first carry for her, making a presence felt.
Making a real nuisance of that ruck as well. That's exactly what you want to test the Cook Island pack.
Varela, long ball out wide. France Still no way through. The gap's closed out on the wings by the Cook Islands defence. Varela keeping it moving. Borak again. Tackles made, but France now inside the 30. Ramos to Varela. Alverne. She's carried the ball a few times so far in this first half for France. She's really pulling her weight. Here's the prop forward as Ramos again takes that ball. It finds Syria. Offloading, keeping it moving. The dummy, the double pump is shown, but it's taken in the end by Zoe Pastre-Courtine, another one off the bench for France. Here's Ramos. Again to Syria. Chip through, loose ball. That will go dead. But that put a little bit of doubt, I think, in the Cook Islands defence minds.
Yeah, absolutely. There was points in there that you saw that France had some really good structure set up behind the play of the ball. There was 1 or 2 times that they probably went for an option out the back and it just wasn't ready, so they've probably gone a little bit too quick. And instead of having a really short one-up, they've looked, they've not had somebody there, they've had to rechange their position and go forward. So there is options there. France are really structured if they get the time. Bit of communication maybe needed just a little bit earlier on from the halves and the hookers, just to say, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going, and I'm sure that success will come.
So it'll be a dropout. Good job done there by France, forcing Cook Islands to usher that ball over the line and get a hand to it, to be sure, as well. Again, a shortish dropout comes, giving France the advantage with territory, but a bit of a scruffy patch there from the French as far as the passing's concerned. Akpa doing her best to duck and dive and weave, but she's brought down. Cook Islands defensive line looking strong. What have France got in their locker to try and get through it? Borak runs a slight angle. Ramos again taking a place behind the tackler. Syria with the ball. Good pass there. Offloads to Montserrat. She's brought down short. Pushing towards the line now of France. Again, Syria with the possession. Shipping it, looking for gaps. Varela takes it. Long ball out wide, straight in the arms. And France going with Melanie Bianchini. And that's their first points of the Rugby League World Cup.
First points of the Rugby League World Cup. Fantastic effort. And it's been a long time coming, not just in this tournament, but in this game. 26 minutes it's taken them to score, and nearly 27, and they've had so much opportunity. They've had probably about 4 or 5 chances. If they'd completed their set or they'd just moved a little bit forward, and they would have got over again. But, you know, a great vision here, great handle of the ball, and look, goes to pump it, draws in a couple more defence, make sure the hips are turned, and then that sweet long pass out, knowing that the defence had already turned their hips in, knowing that the gap was open, and all they needed to do was just dive over. Just that pause there is just so pivotal in making sure that she's locked the defence in.
I was going to say, you can see Kerry Matua literally in 2 minds about where it's going because of that pause that was taken.
Yeah, and you want to look at the hips. As soon as the hips have committed to the ball, you know that it's harder to, you have that extra split second in order to open up the gap, and that's what she did. The double little step that she did meant that she wasn't committing to anybody. She was a little bit, not wishy-washy, that's probably not fair enough, but she definitely wasn't, she was unsure of where she was heading, which meant the body language says a lot, and if you're a clever enough rugby player, you can read that and use it to your advantage, like France have just done.
So Alyssa Syria with the first conversion attempt of the tournament for France. Heavy defeats for them against New Zealand, 46-0, and then that record-breaking defeat of 92-0 against Australia on this ground on Sunday. And this kick will level the scores if she's successful. And it just falls short. Not quite got the legs or the distance, but 6 points to 4. We've got a game on here, Danica.
You could just see by the tip of that kick then that she just didn't hit it quite sweet enough. Again, that's coming from not a kicker, but I'm sure that she'd want to get underneath that a little bit better just to get a little bit more height next time. But France are on the board. France have got some points, and this is going to give them some confidence now moving forward. There's still quite a few minutes left to play in this first half, and there's plenty of time to settle back into it. They've made a marker. They've got some points. Now let's go forward, France.
So the kickoff will come from Cook Islands, and that will do France the power of good to get some points on the board. The fans certainly showing their support away to our right-hand side. There's a man staring at me in the crowd, and it's very off-putting. I'm just going to shuffle a little bit to one side as Matua
It's that voice off the telly. I know her.
Matua with the kick goes downfield. It's allowed to bounce by the French, and that goes behind the dead ball line.
And into the stand.
Yeah, not what France would have been looking for there.
No, it's unfortunate that, isn't it? Just not regathering and just that chat. And often it's just the bounce of the ball, isn't it? If you're not getting under it cleanly, body on the line to stop that ball from bouncing over. And they're going to have to put in a big effort now. You do not want to defend on your line, and you do not want to defend this far into the first half.
So the dropout will come. Syria again with ball in hand. And allowed to bounce again. There's no attack really, is there, coming from the Cook Islands on kicks like that? You just see them happy just to stand and watch and wait and almost gather the breath before picking it up.
I wouldn't say happy, it's hesitant, isn't it? You know, there's the fear of catching it on the full and dropping it, or waiting for the bounce and the easy option. You're giving France that extra few seconds just to pull you up, and the line speed's a little bit better, so risk the full.
Drive coming through, and it's Matua who goes in. She uses her strength, and it's successful, and Cook Islands hit back.
She just took along there, defender 1, 2, 3, and she just dragged them along. She saw that white line, and there was not a chance she was not getting the points on the board then. A great run. Wasn't particularly fast, it wasn't particularly like anything flashy, it was just a good, strong, hard carry, and she knew where she wanted to end up.
The sister of Kerry Matua.
And look at that. 1, 2, there's 3 that tries to come in underneath and set rescue that, but you need bodies in motion when it comes to the Cook Island forwards, and France just weren't there in the numbers, and there she is, look at that. Reaches out, balls down.
Great strength coming in from the forward, on off the bench. It's their sister of Kerry Matuna, twin of Kerry Matuna. And while Tara here rejoins her teammates, it'll be her twin that will try and tag on the extras. Better angle for her this time. 10 metres away from the post as well. This should be relatively straightforward. But of course, we're never sure until those flags are raised by the touch judges. So Matua prepares, a hush, falls slightly over the ground. A little bit of jeering coming from one pocket of the crowd. Matua takes a breath and is successful.
Takes a breath, takes her time, and composed for as long as she needed to do that then, but an easier kick, it would win. She's 2 from 2, so they both seem seemingly easy, but they know now that, you know, with France responding to their last try, that points are going to make a big difference in that, and every point counts today.
You can see how much it matters as the players congratulate each other. With every try that goes, they celebrate it with such passion that you can just see what it means to be in this situation, having not won a game yet so far, not scored many tries between them yet so far.
Sharon,
everything has been celebrated.
It's pure pride and ego, that is. You know, that nobody wants to leave this pitch the loser today, so that's what it is. Every possible success is going to be celebrated.
So Cook Islands on a roll again, coming up the middle of the pitch where they've found success in trying to gain metres. Strong run again coming through from Nagata Puna, belts off the first line of defence before the French managed to get in there.
She's looking for that offload again. That offload is dangerous from her, so France is to really wrap it up.
I think I read she's the top offloader in the whole competition, is Nagata Puna. She certainly is keen to keep looking to get that ball away. And France having to defend again. Inside the 20 now, Cook Islands. Dean at acting half. Goes to Matua. Kick to the corner, into space. One defender there, the bounce might have just beaten everybody, and that goes into touch. But again, we've said it before, the right idea.
Yeah, absolutely, and that bounce was fortunate for France and very, very unfortunate for Cook Islands, because again, you know, they had that two-man overlap over there, and had their bounce gone well, there was options for both of them, but fortunate for France. Doing what rugby balls do best, and they're very unpredictable, and you know, we've got to say this pitch here at York is very beautiful, isn't it, and a great surface to be playing on.
And a drier surface as well this evening. I think it's the first time we've had matches at York in this World Cup where we've not had rain, and a lot of rain as well ahead of kickoff. So better conditions to be played in this evening. So France come forward once more, trying to get outside of their own 20. Driven back by the Cook Islands.
Fantastic defensive effort here from the Cook Islands, really driving them back, really getting the bodies in line and winning that ruck.
Syria doing her best from acting half to try and just get her side ticking away. Ramos with the ball, out towards the centre to Samara.
I think Ramos is the smallest person on that field and she's running at the biggest people. She has no respect for her own body, does she, at all?
She reminds me, does Ramos, of like a little mosquito that's constantly buzzing around and just trying to make generally a nuisance of herself, and she does it with some success.
And goes for the biggest and hardest people around her with absolutely no shame at all.
So the drive through comes again from France, and there we see Fanny Ramos looking like she was doing some sort of cha-cha there on the circle as it's going forward to Akpa. France now with the space. Can they keep it alive? Can they legally keep it alive? No, they can't. The ball goes to ground again, and France break down in attack, but that was some movement coming.
Yeah, France just seem to be forcing it just a little bit too much. They're getting good field possession and right option in the sense that they were moving their hips in, just ready for the pass to come out, but it just wasn't a good enough pass, you know, and wasn't looking at where they were going. But yeah, like we say, the right idea, but it's just about that little composure. The completion of their sets is probably more important at the minute than and just to settle themselves in than it is to get these little wingers flying down. That will come when they settle in, that will come when they get their passes off. Just unfortunate for them not to move up the field.
So as Cook Islands get started again, half a gap opening up quite early, well covered there by France. The French game is growing. They had a huge layoff because of COVID and the coronavirus pandemic, only really getting started again this year, and that was why some of the French girls came across to finish off their seasons with some of the British clubs, just to get some more game time in their legs ahead of the World Cup. It's very much developing as far as the women's game's concerned in France.
Yeah, I think the women's game is generally developing, and what a fantastic thing that France can do that. There's no transfer laws here in the UK and in England in the Super League, so to have that opportunity for the French girls to come over, not only did they bolster their own skill and development, but they bolstered both York and Wigan respectively. So, you know, well played and well used, definitely.
Good defence there coming from the French. The ball being carried strongly by Charlize Tumu-Makara, but France cover it nicely.
Like we've said this before, and we've highlighted the fact that French are having much better defensive efforts on the edges, when the Cook Islands are trying to ship this ball out. When the Cook Islands stay in the centre of the field, they know that they're bossing their way over. They need to be careful with their forwards and make sure they're not pushing them too much. But bringing it out is where, especially this little edge of Song Pushin and Lorian Beville are putting in such a great effort tonight.
The positioning as well, you could see that Tumu-Makara was looking for the pass, and the positioning of the defence as well just meant that was never on.
Yeah, absolutely, and that comes from, you know, experience, and these two have played together a long time. Song Push is becoming a stalwart of this French team. Lorian has been out into Wigan, like I've mentioned several times, because I think she's just a fantastic little player, and together those two have got some of the strength and the depth in this French team, and they really know their game.
So France in possession. Borak offloading to Akpa. Akpa again shrugs off one tackle and finds half a break, and offload comes as well. Good defence coming in from Cook Islands. The ball is loose. Mounier can't take it, and it looks like she's taken a bit of a knock as well. Looks like she might be in trouble with her shoulder.
Oh, that was some tackle and a half. She's going at pace, and to be tackled at pace, it never, well, you never wanted to end, you know, like that. But it was such a good effort and such a great run, but for her to go down like that, and well, unfortunately, I guess in front of the medical team, and they all reacted. So to me, that's saying that's not a great outcome for her. But fingers crossed, because that edge is the success is there when they can complete it, when they can complete that pass. They've just seen now open a gap for her, and she's going to be through. So I think she's been quite pivotal for France and what they've got in their kind of their locker really, and where their game plan's going. So, you know, fingers crossed that she's not too bad. However, that wiggle of the legs sometimes says quite a lot.
Yeah, ouch, I think is...
Yeah, there's two things for me. You've got one of your largest players when they go really quiet and they don't move at all is always a fear. And that little, I call it the ankle wobble, or the digging the heel into the is sometimes not ideal, but looks like we've managed to escape something here.
It was a great break by Akbar that led to Munir going with that, but a good cover coming in from both Wiki and Matua. So the Cook Islands back in possession, trying to drive up the centre of the field. Incidentally, the try scorer has been substituted. She's having a spell off, April Nagatapuna, so we'll see if they still manage to get the same amount of go forward. I'm sure with some of the forwards in that Cook Islands bench, we won't see much difference.
There's no problem with go forward in the Cook Islands in this middle at all.
As the ball can't be taken there by the Cook Islands, picked up, but the ball had already gone forward, and Alkeme Tuana has to give that possession up for the possession to be given to France.
I spoke too soon, didn't I? There is a problem with the go forward when you don't catch the ball, so you know, just a bit of lateral relief for France there, because nobody wants to be defending within that, you know, that middle 20-metre channel, because that is where the strong, powerful runners are, and this hopefully gives France some chance to get out of yardage.
So the sides ready to get going from the scrum, and we're out and away with Syria. Driven into the ground by the Cook Islands defence. Again, France trying to find some joy down there, right?
We're here, please, wait!
Cook Islands have a word or two to say about that and make sure the tackle is firm. Alverne. France still inside their own 40. Steady progress in this set. Now it's Montserrat coming towards that halfway line. Ramos to Syria with a chip over the top. Beautifully taken by Tuana. I just had that doubt in my mind whether she was going to go for that on the full, and it wasn't easy, and she did it well.
Yeah, and I think that chip coming over, you know, we've had a very steady set there from France, and what they really wanted at the end of that was a really big deep kick, just to push the Cook Islands back a little bit more, to make sure they held them in their half a little bit. So a good take on the full, absolutely, but wrong decision for the chip from France, for me anyway.
Wrong here with the ball. Played to Dean and away to Walton. Cook Islands driving up the centre of the field. They've had plenty of fortune by doing that this evening, as the half-time hooter sounds in the background. Not much to pick between these two sides, Danica, in the first half, but Cook Islands with the advantage on the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think if you look at possession now, I think it's been in France's favour. They've not really been out of their half, but they have had the possession of the ball. When the Cook Islands do get hold of it, they're using their strong forwards to break down the middle. They've tried to push the ball out wide where they've not had as much success, but down that middle where they've got their big forward pack is where they keep coming. France in the change rooms now need to fix up a little bit, a couple of drives, push to an edge and work it there.
So at half-time, it's France 4, Cook Islands 12. Well, let's get some reaction to what we've seen in that first half. Let's go down to the touchline and join Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sharon. I have Mackenzie Wiki alongside me. Mackenzie, the Cook Islands were anticipating a tough test, but were you expecting it to be this tough?
Yes and no. We always knew it was going to be a tough test. We all knew, we all just met each other. But this third game, it gives us time to show some more talent.
It absolutely does. You've got 40 minutes left of your World Cup. What can you and your teammates do?
I think just complete our sets and just go forward. Use our strengths wisely, because we've got a really good forward pack, and then let us backs finish the job.
Well, Mackenzie Wiki, go and get in there. Thank you so much for talking to us. We'll speak to Lauriane Baville from Hello. Listen, France have got their first points of the World Cup. How good is that?
Oh, that was great. The goal today was to just score a try, because we didn't want to back home nil, you know. And it's just big hope for us, because we finally can play the game we can play, actually, and just see that what we worked on work. So it is good.
You've certainly competed in that first half. You must be confident for the second.
Yeah, so tried to. We saw that they were pretty big in the middle, but they get tired very quickly. So yeah, we just need to work on to get them, you know, just get them tired and just play on the edge. And I think we can do it, honestly.
I think you can too, Lauriane Baville. Thank you so much for talking to us. All the best.
Thank you.
Back foot, and they need to get used to that. And all they need to do there remain their composure, know exactly what their plays are, and just play the way they know how to play and ignoring what's in front of them.
There have been some outstanding performances, as we see again the New York brass band entertaining the crowds. They've been here right throughout the tournament so far. We'll probably see them again on Monday. The semi-finals here again on Monday evening. And of course you can see both of those games as well. Let's have a look inside the Cook Islands dressing room. Rusty Matua just leaving the pitch away to the left as the players get to the feet. Looks like quite a few smiles and quite a jovial dressing room as they're prepared to come out for the second half, and understandably so. They've rolled forward nicely, they've built platforms, and a couple of times they've managed to get on the end of it. And one of the players there dancing as if, I don't know if they can hear the brass band inside the dressing rooms, but it was certainly feeling the beat there. Yeah, Cook Islands in good spirits by the looks of things ahead of the second 40.
Yeah, they've definitely had some success, haven't they, down that middle, and that's where that success is going to come. Look at the scoreline is in their favour now. They should be settled. They are playing out some very successful sets, and they're moving forward, and they're probably doing exactly what they've set out to do. They're going to hammer France down. They know they can't play to the edges with France because they're probably a little bit too fast and a little bit fitter, and where their strength lies is just hammering it forward, sending the power and the punch and the strength down that middle, down the yardage, down the field, and over the whitewash like we've seen.
The New Zealand dressing room, again, sorry, the France dressing room, a little calmer. Again, as we saw before, kick-off in their huddle. Elisa Syria there delivering her instructions as captain to her side, just getting the spirits up, getting the pride still in those shirts. And they are playing with pride of France. They're really pushing Cook Islands. There's more points to come in this game.
Oh, 100%, you know, and I think the key message in there would be, let's get to an edge, girls. Let's not break our bodies down that middle. You know, and they've seen what France can do, and we've been moving up this field, and it's the end for me is just that final pass or getting a really good kick away. They're completing their sets, but they're completing with a little chip kick or maybe not quite how they would. They want to push the Cook Islands as far down the field when they complete the sets in order to bring it back and not have to force themselves defensively too much.
I'm not sure how far some of the fans have travelled this evening to be in York, but there are certainly supporters with both sets of shirts on. See there more from the Cook Islands. And the colour, I've mentioned this before, but the colour and culture that this World Cup has brought with it, it's been absolutely superb.
I'm going to unashamedly say, if anyone can get hold of one of those Cook Island warm-up jackets, I'm all for it. I'll switch one out for you because I think they're absolutely fantastic. They're just absolutely brilliant, and like you say, the colour, the spirit, just the joy that they bring to playing. They only had one training session before coming out here. You know, they've come out with just a few days before, so they're coming out here to have a good time.
I thought you were going to ask for a headdress. I was surprised when you said...
I'll have a headdress too, don't get me wrong, Sharon, I'm all for it. I want to go play for the Cook Islands.
Out of retirement.
Oh,
well, France are back out on the field, still waiting for Cook Islands to emerge from the crowd. So it's a French flag that we can see flying in the stands at the moment. The chants of Allez Bleu as well from the very vocal pockets of French fans at the same side of the ground as we are as well. And Cook Islands trot out onto the field as well. So this game getting going very shortly then for the second half. As the fans finishing stretching the legs. Careful there, sir. You nearly tumbled down the steps. Just managed to keep his balance, thankfully. So the last thing we need is some sort of crisis in the crowd.
That is not the entertainment we're looking for today.
Not yet.
As France prepare to get this second half underway. Perrine Montserrat with the ball on the kicking tee for France. And she will restart this game. 12 points to 4. Cook Islands lead. Both teams looking for their first win in their final game of the tournament. Neither will progress through to the semi-finals, but plenty of pride at stake. So Perrine Montserrat waits for the referee's whistle. Cook Islands face down, preparing for it to start. And Ben Taylor is getting ready, gives the nod. And Montserrat comes in with the kick downfield. Taken cleanly. And the drive is there.
Back here and wait, please.
Again, we're going to see this, aren't we? Just settle themselves out of yardage. A quick one-up carry, nothing too spectacular, just a bolstering run, going forward and pushing their way up this field.
Driving towards the 40-metre line. Work comes in from the French. Cook Islands, big carry. Again, it's Matua with ball in hand. Just outside the 40. And a penalty given to Cook Islands, an appeal coming from Ramos from France. But it'll be Cook Islands that can edge downfield.
Just a really steady, simple set there. Just one-up carries, hit, down the middle of the field, getting the yardage, and then they came up with that penalty. So a really simple but effective set from the Cook Islands to start this half.
Ball in hand. Good work coming in by France. Keeping it moving.
Move, back goal. Go.
The ball's played to Dean. Trying to attack. As France come forward in 2s and 3s.
Move, back here.
And the tackle is completed still.
Go.
Moving up the centre, trying to attack straight down the middle as we saw in the first half. Cook Islands getting success with that.
Wait.
As Dean takes a place, again acting half. Up the centre from Stevens to Matua, keeps it alive. Good hands coming in from Cook Islands. They've got space with Wiki. Wiki goes to the corner, and Cook Islands go in. The second try of the tournament for Mackenzie Wiki, taking Cook Islands out to 16 points to 4.
That's just, it comes from a really simple set, some really good communication. They've come out of the sheds and they've come with a really simple game plan. Hit, regain possession and carried it out. They've moved the defence around a little bit. They've pushed the France to the edges and tried to get a little bit of joy down there, and then they swung this ball back again. Again, just pushing up these carries that are basically just really simple. And we look, apart from this one, we just moved it out. Like, we've worked to an edge, we've moved it out, spread the defence a little bit wide. All of France have had to turn back in and get that, which leaves a massive gap on this edge. And that just comes from a really simple kick-off and just a really simple game plan for the Cook Islands to bolster their way right up, and a deserved try there for them.
And we see there the ball moved out towards Wiki going in. She got the try for them in the game against New Zealand. And backing it up with the try tonight against France.
It's really important for France to compose themselves now. You know, an unfortunate penalty that they got, and it comes from the simple play. You know, the Cook Islands, the France are committing 4 or 5 people to each tackle, which is what they need to do. And it's about how they retreat them back into the line. They respace, because that means there's a lot of numbers behind the ruck, which leaves the edges a little bit open, and meaning that they have to work a little bit harder to push out wide. And so it's about that real tackle tech there and winning the floor and winning the ruck.
So a tough conversion to come from Matua, right on the touchline. Again, she takes her time, eyes up the posts. Almost goes into slow motion with that kicking action. And eventually gives it a good punt, but no kick successful for her this time. 2 from 3 for Matua, 16 points to 4 with that try from Wiki.
And it's a fantastic one, isn't it? We worked to that edge and just slid over, just making sure that France had to move. And that really comes from France just numbering off a little bit better, moving a bit quicker, and more importantly, communication is going to be key today.
Mackenzie Wiki, daughter of Ruben Wiki, an international himself, of course, as France come in with the kickoff. It's long downfield. And the carry comes again, running straight and hard, right up the centre of the field, on the 30. France having to work in defence. Again, strong run again coming through from Terahia Matua. Wow, she's still on her feet. The referee says, no, I've called hell, just takes her back. But when you've got a player like that can use strength like that, it's an absolute mismatch, and you can understand where these extra yards are coming from.
Sharon, there was 2 carries there that took us to the halfway line. That just shows you how strong they are down the middle. And we've spoken about it yet again. We've had another simple carry. This is the 4th straight-up carry that they've had down the middle of this field, which is really testing and pushing the defence of France.
Dean at acting half. There's Matua, takes on the line. Ducks under the arm of Varela. Looked like she was going to get that pass away to Wiki, but the defence did its job. This is the last of the set. The middle of the field, the kick goes downfield. Bit of a chase on from France. taken by Song Poosh, but she's hustled into touch. Great defence there from Cook Islands. And France under pressure.
Yeah, Cook Islands had that space out wide when they were the kick. There was no numbers there for France. France had to work harder to retrieve the ball then, and that just gave Cook Islands a chance there to push up on their line speed and defensively work to regain possession. Fantastic set there from Cook Islands. They look like they've come out a little bit more sparky from the sheds. They look like they're really here to do a job. Maybe that composure and that, you know, the light-hearted kind of nature that we saw in that changing rooms is where the Cook Islands have come out and gone, you know what, girls, let's go have a party.
And at this stage, you wouldn't blame them if that was their thoughts either.
No, absolutely. Look, we took 4 carries of that set. We're straight up the middles. There were 4 carries that have taken 3 or 4 members of the French team to defend it. And then we saw that just that 1 carry come out that set the kick, but we worked one way to an edge and for the kick, which meant all the defence was moved. There was a massive gap there with 2 or 3 of the Cook Islanders managing to open up the gap and push for the kick, and the chase was perfect.
So one of the French players there, just a bit of attention, looked like she was winded. It was Perrine Montserrat as the Cook Islands drive forward again from that dropout.
Sharon, I've been winded watching these tackles, so I don't know what it feels like down there, and I was a prop forward.
This is good work again from Cook Islands, driving through. 10 metres out now. Dean gives it to Matua. Nope, drive forward coming through. It's Walton actually in possession. Can't get it away cleanly. Goes to ground right around the feet of Mireka Dean. And France survive.
Well, you know, we look at that at Walton again, a fantastic star of this Cook Islands. Last time she was the top tackler, and not only was she the top tackler, she was also had the most runs and made, you know, over 150 metres with the ball. So she is a real strike power in that back for Cook Islands. And again, they've gone for the simple kind of straight up the middles. The only time that France might get any joy from this is if the Cook Islanders start to tire and France can kind of use their speed to get outside them.
To the sides, back down, out and away from France. Driving forward, big hit again coming in there from the Cook Islands defence. And France having to go forward now with Akbar. Does her best there to try and get through, just slightly loses her footing as she goes. And the ball again comes out towards Varela. Back to Ramos. Offload to the centre of the field where Bianchini takes it. Coming from the centres, looking for a little bit more work. Syria offloading again. Good break here coming from France. And France have 1 player left to beat. Great support. And it's Elisa Syria that's sent into the clear. And she races in for the try for France. The 2nd try of the evening for them. And again, the 2nd try of this World Cup. France hit back.
Fantastic there from France. I don't know if you saw on the screens, but what France did, they went down the middle, but they used the centres came into the middle pack, and the bigger plays for France, the pack had gone out to the edges slightly, so they worked kind of down the middle, which I thought was a bit of a risky move to do, but then they've moved this out. They've got a great blistering run that's brought forward. They've kept this ball alive here. A fantastic breakthrough just to keep this ball moving, and then getting that ball in 2 hands, having the options there. Great support play, and off she goes, puts the burners on. See you later, I'm getting the 4 points for France today.
Great work and deserved try from Syria, and it was Borak, the player that came on off the bench, that added that bulk really to the French.
Yeah, but look at the chase as well. Borak's just done a blistering run. She's a great forward. She's set this try up, and then she's carried on with that support play. Not quite as fast, but she's there, and she's hot on the tails in case they're needed. Fantastic support play from France, and that's what we want to see more of. Let's get this ball out. We've spoken about finding the gaps in the Cook Islands and where they're going to tie. They've just done 12 hits up down that middle, so fantastic by France to spot that and break through.
Syria with the conversion attempt on her own try. Her 2nd World Cup. France didn't get involved in the 2017. They were thrilled to be back in it for 2021. Of course, 2022 is when it's been played as Syria steps up, and the kick is successful. First goal of the evening, first goal of the tournament for Syria, and France edged that a little bit closer.
Oh, fingers crossed here, you know, because we've seen this now. Moving the ball around. They've seen they've got the hands, they've seen they've got the support play. Look, 1, 2, 3 France players in support there, which just makes it a little bit easier to, when you can hear that chat from the back, you know that your teammates are on with you. You've done the hard yards, and all you need to do is get that good offload to somebody there. And come on now, France. You know, I've never willed a French team as much as I'm willing this French team to bring it back a little bit more, just for them both. have a little bit of a competition on their hands, have a bit of pride at stake, you know, then bruise egos, give them a little bit of a wipe down and let's go forward.
Van Somperloop looking pensive as he watches his side take the restarts from the Cook Islands. Just outside the 30, France. Well taken there, a bit of a dipping ball going down to Song Poosh, right around the bootlaces. As France try and find space again out wide.
They're just pushing this same edge again now. We need to see this ball moving. Let's get it out wide. Look at this overlap over here. We've got 1, 2, 3 players out wide. If we can just get this communication on, get this ball out before the Cook Islands have a chance to regroup, they're going to have some success down this wing.
Back to Syria. Kick over the top into space, and that is just scooped up by Tuana. Does well to keep the balance, keeps the ball in play as well. Big hit coming in from Lauriane Beville. Great work there by the French defence.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we talked about finishing these sets with a good kick and making sure it doesn't go down the hands of these Cook Islanders. We want to get it into space, get it into field, give the kick chase some chance.
So Cook Islands with that direct style of play early in the tackle count again, up the middle of the field. France standing their ground at the moment, right on that halfway line, as again a huge charge forward comes in from Cook Islands. France really been made to work in defence. More meters made. Tanavisi back on. This is the last of the set. Relatively good from France in defence as the kick goes downfield and chased back. Oh, leapt over there by Chloe Guillaureau. She did well to not mess that up as Song Poosh picks it up and gains the meters.
Very lucky for France there, and a little bit hesitant on the ball. They need to really make something of this, get out of yardage, get in some good ball and get this ball moving around.
Great work by Cook Islands, pushing France back 5 meters away from their own line. Out to Akpa. Tries to find the gaps through. Hauled to the ground by the Cook Islands defence.
We heard Lauriane Beville speak at half-time about waiting for this French
break down the wing. Good work from Cook Islands. The tackle's in there. And you can hear the cries of the French supporters, really not happy with the speed of how fast the defenders got away from the tackle or how slowly they got away, but nothing given by the referee. This is the last of the set. Goes back to Syria. Long kick downfield. Splits the winger and the full-back. It's taken again by Tuana. But the French chase is good.
Yeah, really good then. And just about to say, you know, Lauriane Beville spoke about this pack in Cook Islands tiring. Just doesn't seem to be coming, does it? They just seem to keep going and going. However they've refueled at half-time, they are here to put a marker down today, and I don't see them tiring anytime soon, do you?
Not in the slightest. They're carrying it really strongly, so as they have done all match. Like you said, there doesn't seem to be any dip in energy levels at all. I think it looks like the coach has certainly got the substitutions and the rotation of those forwards.
Yeah, not only in attack but in defence as well. Yeah. It's really tough to defend, and it zaps your energy, and the more defending you do, the harder it is to keep going forward. But these Cook Islanders have definitely got it in their back pocket to keep pushing forward.
The forwards this season for Cook Islands have really, really carried them. And this is the last of the set, just outside the 40. And the kick again comes downfield, taken cleanly again by Christina Song Poosh. But again, a good chase coming in. Walton is in there leading the charge with Stevens. France going on the short side, where there seem to be quite a few numbers in defence over there.
They really like that far end of the field away from us, don't they, Sharon? I don't know if it's us or if they're just like, both teams seem to be like playing down that edge. And I think the success and the gaps are really going to go up if they just look up a little bit, and they'll see where the gaps are opening up on the far end.
Beville tries to launch a pass to send a teammate through a gap. She can't manage it, so France bring the ball back central. Great work there from Cook Islands. Kitai in there again with Nagata Puna back on from the bench. She was one of the try scorers in the first half for Cook Islands. As the ball, scrappy, straight into touch. Pastor-Courtine couldn't take it. I think by the time the ball had got to her, the odds were against her.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the ball just came out a little bit too early, in the sense that we should just compose it a little bit and not force that pass too much. You know, missing out 2 players there to try and get the wider ball. You can see it, it's on, there's options out there, but the execution now is key for France. They want to really just compose themselves. There's 6 points in it with plenty of time left to go. They just need to make sure that they're not forcing it too much. They keep pushing the pressure on Cook Islands, making Cook Islands move defensively, and you know, them gaps will start to open up, I hope.
Well, Perrine Montserrat, again, just having a little bit of attention from the physio. She was winded a short time ago in this half. She looks in a little bit of discomfort. Again, it looks like a similar sort of problem to what she had before.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a winded. If it was winded, you try and open up the lungs and try and open up the rib cage and get some more in. I think she's taken a knock, and I think whether she's been honest with herself about how hard that knock is, you know, to take the knock again and to go down with the same thing, says to me that she's definitely taken a bit of a battering, and she needs to own up to that, really, and just put her hand up and say, look, for myself and for the team, I need some care and attention.
Well, she's pulled her weight for France. 23 tackles in this game, but her evening has ended and she leaves the field. Play restarts then with the Cook Islands in possession. Again, a big drive coming forward for Cook Islands. And it's Dean. Gets things going again with Agatapuna. 30 metres out. Here's Walton. Big run from Walton. Caught well by Akpa. Dean once more. Attacking on the shorter side. Big hit again coming in there. Akpa once more involved. She too was well up the chart for the tackle count for France. But Cook Islands with a roll on, with that momentum, driving towards that French line. The ball comes loose. It's a penalty to Cook Islands. Ripped away, says the referee. And this will put France under pressure. 6 points between them.
Yeah, it's stopping the Cook Islands from, you know, down that field is tough enough. Stopping them from 10 metres out of their own line is going to be a real test for France now.
Agatapuna then as first receiver, driving through, taking play close to the posts. France working hard, Cook Islands driving hard, trying to find the step, trying to find the gap. Cook Islands go forward. Trying to get the ball out there is Kitai. And another penalty right on the try line given to Cook Islands. Again, more pressure on the French.
Not sure what that one was for there, but it's just unfortunate for the French because they've, you know, did well. They're getting the bodies in there, regrouping, they're re-numbering off really well. But Cook Islands going to keep putting that pressure on. This is the third set they've started up in this area, and it's not ideal for a defensive set for France.
And it's a strong forward run as well from Tana Visi. She'll be pushed back this time by the French defence, who are really having to work hard at keeping these big Cook Islands forwards away from that try line.
She's also not enjoying being tackled, is she, at all?
Out wide now, looking for space round the edges. Cook Islands go charging forward. Just short. Syria in there for France. Cook Islands now still going for the corner. Great hustling defence by France, taking the player in possession into touch. Great work there from France.
Absolutely fantastic effort, and I think that right edge for France has been really pivotal in today. You know, maybe not getting the points on the board, but defensively they have been so strong, and to really force that out and push it out. The determination on their faces there, they know exactly where they're going, and I'm sure the chat in that group then was just like, keep going, keep going, keep pushing. But there was potentially 3 sets then on the line there for France, and to hold them out, you know, the big players that Cook Island have got, to get the numbers in, to regroup defensively. Well done, France. Take a moment just to appreciate how hard you've just worked, because that would have wiped it out of you.
It was a strong run from Tumu Makara as well for Cook Islands as France restart, just coming outside their own 10.
And we look at that, 210 tackles that France have made compared to Cook Islands 141. Defensively, that's the toughest thing you can do is tackle. So to keep going and keep pushing, there'll be some sore bodies, but you know, they're doing absolutely fantastic.
From the acting half position, Fanny Ramos again takes that ball in towards the line. It just goes to ground. It's picked up safely though by Akpa, and France continue with that play.
I think you're just lucky there not to catch it, but also lucky not to get the knock on. So settle themselves in and keep pushing forward now.
France trying to move the ball with a little bit of pace out wide. It's taken by Pastor-Courtine. Again, a bit of a scruffy pass coming out towards the left-hand side, and it's a knock-on from the French winger. And Cook Islands, again, gifted possession.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're getting on these wings, aren't they? And then there's the gap opening up wide, and they're just not backing themselves to drive down. What I want to see there, look at this gap. There's about, you know, a good 8 metres to space. You know, and 8 metres for a prop, I would have tried my best to get through there, Sharon. But that's where you need to just kind of back yourself and go up and hope that French support is in play for you. Going back inside and hitting these numbers, hitting these big bodies, is not ideal, particularly not for a winger either.
And Pastor Courtine just getting a bit of attention to his shoulder as well. As you see the errors there, France making 9, Cook Islands 6. Before this evening's game, Cook Islands had made the fewest errors of anybody in the tournament, and France were just a couple of places in that chart behind them. So neither side really prone to errors, and I'm not quite sure where that sits this evening, 9 and 6. Rusty Matua there looking on from the touchline. I'm sure he'll be pretty pleased though, regardless of what he's seen from his players this evening. Still the break in play as Pastor Courtine just retakes her place. Vincent Baloop as well, still in the stand with that pensive look on his face.
Does he ever have a different facial expression?
No, I don't think he does, to be fair. Many coaches are very, very stony-faced, aren't they, as it goes, games go on. Super Witchman. She's hit by the defence.
Managing to hold the ground, though. That's fantastic, isn't it? Effort in that middle. Just to hold your feet, get a quicker play of the ball, and go bolstering down this field. Such power in numbers, this Cook Islanders team.
Agatapuna gets to her feet, plays the ball, and it's away to Walton. Walton shifts it as well as the defence moves through.
We know the defence for France is strong on this side.
Dean up the centre of the field with the offload. Great drive forward coming in from Cook Islands inside the 10. Away to Walton. She meant it with that pass. It's picked up in the end by Matua. She had to mop that situation up, and a good, strong response from Matua keeps it alive. Cook Islands still going. France having to react, and what a lovely little offload that was. Cook Islands with the try. They extend that lead through Alchemy Tuama.
And we're back to this defensive effort of France, aren't we? Sapping the energy out of them. And the Cook Islands have just been able to keep this ball alive. They've worked to one edge. They've used their forwards, and they've used those one-up runs just to keep the pressure applying. And then as soon as they get a good platform, they just keep this ball alive, keep it moving. A bit of a scrappy pass, and really fortunate they managed to regain it. But look, the defensive efforts from France, you need to get your bodies in front of these girls. Coming on the side angle is not going to do anything. And they just keep pushing, keep the ball alive, and straight. Big gap open because the defence is so scrappy and is so disjointed there that they're straight through. But like I say, it comes from a bit of a scrappy pass and just lucky to regather it, really. So credit where it's due to Cook Islands to keep pushing. France, just take a moment. You've been defending here now for a good few minutes, and it was bound to crack at some point.
That pass coming from Walton, not the cleanest take, but she sent that out with so much intent. She knew exactly what she wanted to see from her side.
Yeah, there's an intent, and then there's, you know, you've got to manage yourself as well. But, like, who cares about that now? Cook Islands have got the 4 points, you know. There's the last game of the World Cup for them. Fixing things up now, he's not going to do anything. So, listen, success from whatever kind of set that was, and that's all they're going to care about.
So Kerry Matua again with the conversion attempt. She's not been too bad this evening. 2 from 3 from her, just stretching it out. It's one of those games where conversions really can be absolutely crucial. It's been pretty tight. Cook Islands always with the noses in front, but France still snapping at their heels. So she takes a breath again, slowly looks down at the ball, and the kick comes in, and it's good. The extra 2 points tagged on for Cook Islands. 3 from 4 for Kerry Matua.
And it just looks like that this gap's open just a little bit too much. We thought that the Cook Islands would tire. French thought that the Cook Islanders were going to tire. But that determination, isn't it? We've talked about the ego, the pride that they've got in this game and not finishing last in this pool. And that seems to be the drive that they've got going forward. They know that they've got the power and the strength to drive forward, particularly in this middle. And that's exactly what they're doing to the French now.
So Syria with the kick-off for France. Finds good length, taken well by Cook Islands. And again, the charge comes once more from the Moana at the centre of the field.
One move! Wait!
France having to do a little bit more defending at the moment. It'll be a real test now of how strong they can finish.
Oh, absolutely. You know, my body's tired watching this, but every time... Oh, fantastic rip.
Ball stolen. Ball stolen by Mansard. Play on, says the referee.
She's even debated it herself, didn't she? She just backed herself and gone, then play to the whistle, girls. Play to that whistle.
She certainly had the doubt. So France then on the attack inside the Cook Islands 30. First real foray for a while, and that was a tip coming in from Matua in the tackle. The referee right in there with the penalty. As we just see again, Mansard with that doubt in her mind as to whether they could play on or not. But they've got the possession. They've got the position, and now they've got the penalty.
Yeah, it's something of nothing, and, you know, they've noticed there that they've done it like it's not intentional. It's just, when you're getting that defensive effort, you want to really push and drive, and all it takes is just somebody to drop a shoulder, or you just to drive too hard, and that tip comes, and like we saw, the tip is, that one was a little bit more extreme. We saw the shoulders and the hips drop, and the feet come up. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. A lot of the time, I say this quite loosely, but it's a bit of the shock of being tipped upside down. You know, you're running at pace, you're trying to push forward, and just being tipped is never nice. But fingers crossed, it's nothing to, just more of a precautionary thing. But France will regain some possession here in really good area of the field.
So Varella's on her feet. Matua will be wondering if there's anything to come from that tackle. And the referee just turning. The penalty certainly already awarded to France. No further action taken, and the kick for touch will give France those extra few meters. Ramos
has been fantastic about directing this team today, so I want to see what she's going to be doing and seeing how she's going to move it around.
Up the middle of the field goes Borak. Manages to offload. France keeping it alive. 10 metres away from the line, trying to find that gap and sliding through it. Gail Alverne. The doors are closed on her.
Borak's really pushed it to them, hasn't she? When she's got hands on the ball, she's really made some meters.
Akpa now. She's run well as well this evening for France. 5 metres out from the line. Ramos with a short ball, trying to crash the way through France. There we go. Songpush takes a short ball and capitalises on it. France go in at the corner. The referee points to the spot. France again hit back.
Fantastic effort there from France, and I've been willing that right-hand edge to get some success and get some points on the board, because they've been working so hard defensively. They've got the strike in their attack. They've just not completed as much, and that's what we have, that link up between Laurent Beville and Christina Songpush. We've seen how good they can be, and that's all it is. Laurent Beville comes in quite tight, which leaves the defence moving, which leaves that big gap for Songpush to push over in. Cook Islands have to work, but just a little bit too hard for their liking tonight, and that gives the success then that corner. Big kick to come for sure.
Christina Songpush, the 33-year-old, plays for Catalan Dragons in the French competition. Another former rugby union player on this field. Quite a few spread across the two sides.
I think across the whole pool, we've seen a lot of players. You know, New Zealand and Canada have definitely lost a couple of their 2017 players to the Rugby Union World Cup that's happening right now. Similarly with France. And that's it's fantastic, isn't it, that you can have that crossover between the two codes, and also you learn different skills from both too, so hopefully it's working in their favour.
Syria with the conversion attempt. That looks like it's got the legs just underneath the bar. I think they're very close, so no change to the scoreline for France, but still plenty of rugby still to go in this game. Anything could still happen.
There's plenty of time left, isn't there? And again, that confidence that will just give France now to settle back into it. It's how they're going to respond off this kick-off now. Where's the success coming? Where's the communication coming? They've worked from one edge straight to the other edge. We took the penalty on this try line, this edge over here, and they've just worked the ball to the other edge, and that's where they're going to have to do, moving the Cook Island defence and moving the ball really quickly to find the gaps.
Kerry Matua prepares again to take the restarts for Cook Islands. I had to chuckle when that try went in and you saw the replay, and Laurent Beville smothered by 3 Cook Islands defenders. You just saw this one arm shoot out in celebration.
Well, that's what it was. She brought that ball in tight to make the defence move inwards. It gave Songpush that's the gap outside.
I couldn't see anything else of her body apart from that one arm that went up in celebration. So France again with that possession. Cook Islands will work to try and keep them pinned back inside their half of the field.
Back! Wait, wait.
Defending quite tight at the moment, Cook Islands. On their own 40.
Yeah, and France has to realise this and just look up, get the ball moving down the hands, or get an early kick on, down in this corner, just to move the defence around.
Mansard with the ball. Looks for the offload. Varela, did she get that clean? She might have got away with that. It looked like a little bit of a bobble, but she was certainly facing her own line. And France, ooh, big hit again there. You could hear that, we could feel that. As Doreen Samara is driven into the ground by the Cook Islands defence.
I know I've only been retired a year, but these hits look a lot harder than I've ever played against, I tell you that.
Kick goes long, taken by Wiki. And Cook Islands launch another attack, again from inside their own half.
I think that just these kicks on the end of the set, they really need to look for the grass and get them a little bit deeper, just in order to give Cook Islands a little bit more work to do to regather and come out of yardage.
Gail Alverne down on the floor for France. Mackenzie Wiki looking a bit concerned for her opponent. And she's certainly in pain, is Alverne as well. The ice pack is on there. And I know this is the last of the group and the last of the game tournament really for France, but I'm sure Vincent Balouk will be keen not to suffer any more injuries to his already battered squad. They've lost some good players early on in this competition, and like we said earlier, he will not be picking from his first choice 13 this evening because of what they've picked up as this competition's gone on.
Yeah, we go back to the turnaround, don't we, and how difficult it is on the girl's body. This is a physical sport. Nobody plays it to you know, take a stroke and a tickle. This is, you put your body on the line for your teammates, you put your body on the line for your country ultimately in this World Cup, and that's what these girls are doing. If you were worried about getting injured, you wouldn't put your studs on, and that's how it works. Nobody wants to see an injury, nobody wants to see anybody go down. That looks like a knee, and with the complexities of a knee, you know, there's plenty of injuries that can happen. You can take a knock and it can feel like the worst thing, and 5 minutes later you're back up and running, or it can feel like not too much and then it'd be the worst possible outcome. So it's just such a risky little, you know, place to have an injury, but I love it when they bring on the ice. It's a bit like the old school paper towel kind of syndrome, isn't it?
Magic sponge.
Yeah, look, we're rugby players. We call it the twisted eyelash in the Super League. Are you hurt or you're injured? And ice only works for the hurt.
We see the French players in a huddle glancing across frequently to see how things are going with Alverne. At least she's sitting up now, looks in a little bit less pain. That maybe that initial shock has passed. So you see the tackle coming in, and right at the bottom of there was Alverne. I think a bit of a twist on her leg.
I'm not a big fan of watching knee injuries anymore, Sharon.
I think it was more the player landed on her leg rather than anything particularly twisted, but
she's not looking very comfortable, if you ask me.
No.
Watch her put the bottle down and start sprinting now.
Let's see if we can get the latest news then. Let's go back down to the touchline and rejoin Jenna.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sharon. I've just spoken to the head coach of France, Vincent Balouk. And listen, they have put up a fight, France have, haven't they, against this Cook Island side. I can tell you that they have one available player now, given the injuries that they've suffered, which is just terrible luck for him, terrible luck for France, because, as I said, they have left everything out on the pitch tonight. They've only got just over 10 minutes to go. Can they hold on? What can they do for their final game of this World Cup?
Thanks, Jenna. So France not far behind Cook Islands, but it's Cook Islands still in command on the board as Alverne walks off the field. Thankfully not really limping too badly either. So hopefully nothing serious for the French forward as Cook Islands come through as we restart the game again.
Please hold it. Hold! Go!
Dean again to Matua. Nice little offload to Nagatapuna. The offload comes almost taken taken by Cook Islands. In the end, it's dropped. She's one heck of a forward, that girl.
That was a prop panic pass, I tell you. She had open space and she didn't have the legs for it and just threw the ball away. She just kept it, taken the tackle and given the meters for Cook Islands for sure. But there's a nice idea behind it.
Her pace is impressing me for a prop.
Yeah, but the panic there was not impressive. It's not the pass that your teammates want, but a great break for sure.
So France then with the ball with Mansard over the halfway line.
Move, Kerry! Wait here.
Ramos
Wait me.
takes her place. As France come down on the short side, Samara, she will have known about that challenge coming in from Cook Islands.
The contact has been absolutely fantastic from the Cook Islands tonight. Really, you know, really giving it to them, aren't they?
Kick comes over the top from Varela. Tawana is there for it. And Cook Islands start again. A good chase coming in from France.
Yeah, they're definitely on this kick chase. They've definitely got the chase. It's just the depth they want a little bit more of. Again, I'm not a kicker, so it's quite offensive for me to say you need to kick it further. However, just look for that open space and look for that depth.
Cook Islands breaking through, just trying to get outside their own half of the field. Have nearly managed it. Stevens now in there at acting half. Takes it herself. The defence reads, and the tackle's complete. Ball's played, and away again. Big run up the centre of the field coming from Walton. 3 French players are in there. Eventually, that tackle's complete.
You'd say 3 French players, but I'd say that was an unsuccessful contact. I don't think that was very, you know, they didn't get anybody on the front foot and they didn't get anybody down, so you need to really communicate and go lower there.
And the kick downfield is allowed to bounce. Is it collected by Cook Islands? It's knocked forward. And it looked like the ways were going to part for them, but they were denied with that chance.
Yeah, fantastic idea, and they just saw that gap at the back there. And you know, the defence was just a little bit dog-legged. It wasn't quite, you know, they weren't quite set the wing on the full-back there, but unfortunate not to gather it. Maybe fortunately for France. You know, I've become a bit of a France fan over the last 10 minutes, Sharon, so I'm willing them to get down the field and score another point.
Tupu Wichman, the player, denied there for Cook Islands as France try and drive outside their own 20. Cook Islands, in contrast, will be keen to try and keep them pinned down this half of the field. 10 minutes to go. Still not much between these two sides as the ball's lost and Cook Islands come back up with it. The referee rules a knock-on, I think. And it'll be a scrum with the head and feed to Cook Islands.
Just an unfortunate fumble there. You know, I think that's the strength of the contact that's coming in. You've got one element, which is the contact of the body hitting you, and the next element is how hard you're hitting the ground as well. And you just see Borwick's been absolutely fantastic today, and just unfortunate where she's carried that ball. It's just hit the pinpoint at the end, and it's just bounced it out of her arms.
Interesting to note how quickly France packed down there to get ready for that scrum as Cook Islands come forward with it. Inside the 20, they're sniffing out more points in this game, the Cook Islands. And they're sensing this could be a chance to do it again. Dean to the middle of the field, to Matua. Looks like she's trying to get that ball out. She can't, the tackle's in.
But look, at 3 tackles and she's still not gone all the way down. France still haven't won the ruck in that one.
And Cook Island still looking good. The big players again coming forward, but the ball comes loose. I think Baville is there for France and drops on it. And I think we might have another penalty to Cook Islands. The referee, I think we've possibly got a captain's challenge going on here.
Oh, I think that Lauren Baville's touched it before it's come down.
Video referee to match director, we have a captain's challenge. France are challenging the decision of a knock-on. Please see your best available angles of the ball. Nice and close up and slow. Okay, so roll it through here. Keep going. Cook Islands appear to pass the ball, and the ball appears to be knocked on by France. Based on the available angles, the challenge is unsuccessful.
So the challenge is lost by France, challenging that with the referee. The play will continue. And it will be a Cook Islands ball as a result. The arm of Lauriane Biville just coming in with that pass, just getting a hand to it and knocking it down. And this has put France under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just doing what she needs to. Feels like she needs to. She's gone for the tackle, and it's just happened the ball has spilled at the same time.
Stevens breaking away from the scrum for Cook Islands. Good work again by France, just dragging it back 2 or 3 metres, but still pushing that line, the Cook Islands. Again, strong run coming forward. France really been made to work hard, so close to their line. The goal line defence is having to be strong tonight. Again, we've got a big charge coming through from Cook Islands with Walton. Wow. Wow from France, keeping her out so close to the line at that speed as well. Can they do it again? Cook Islands charge forward, trying to crash themselves over the line. Syria gets underneath the ball for France, but Cook Islands again going for the dive from acting half. And that looks like it could be a try. The referee is going to the video. Referee again deemed a try on the field. I think it's Tetuani Dean who thinks she's scored.
Video referee to match director. We have an on-field decision of try, tackle 4. Please check all available angles for the pickup and grounding. So roll it through from here. It's the pickup after the play of the ball. Just keep going. Okay. Get something, another angle, please, on the ball being picked up at dummy half. Okay. Ball appears to be picked up cleanly at dummy half and grounded in the end goal. Thank you. I'm happy I've seen all the angles I need, and I've now made my decision.
So Tetuani Dean waiting for the decision. And it's a try. Try given to Cook Islands. That could have just clinched it for them.
I'm not one for being controversial against decisions, but that looked like it slid across the floor, Sharon, if I'm honest with you. I never like to argue with the referee's decision. I obviously know that they have the hardest job on the field. However, it did look like they've used the slickness of the field to get over.
Yeah, I also wonder as well, we've seen this in Super League this season. I'm trying to see where the defender's legs are there. Did she go between them? I think she did. I think she went straight between the legs of Ramos.
She did as well, yeah. I do think there was a bit of a step, though, from Ramos, if I'm honest. But, I mean, I'm all for France right now. You know I am. I love an underdog. Slid the ball over, went between the legs. No try from me.
Unfortunately, the referee and the video referee disagreed with you, and the try has gone to Cook Islands, 26 points to 14.
It won't be the first time.
Matua with the conversion attempt to come. It's almost as if she's going into some sort of meditation state before she kicks it. It's fascinating the way
Finding a zen.
Yeah, it's fascinating that sort of the routines that some of the kickers go through. And she comes in, and that goes wide. So no goal there from Dean this time. 3 from 5 from her. But Cook Islands, just with their noses a little bit further in front.
Yeah, you know, and look, they've come out from the second half, haven't they? They've come out absolutely blistering. We saw that first couple of sets where they just put 12 forward runs down the middle of the field and just gained possession and really put it to France in that first couple of minutes of the opening half, and they haven't let up, have they? You know, 75 minutes in, and they are absolutely bouldering forward.
And so the kick-off to come with Perrine Montserrat. And the kick is long downfield. Just while we're waiting for that restart, the ball goes dead from the kick-off from France. While waiting for the game to restart properly, Danica, have a think about your player of the match. We'll ask you for that in just a few moments' time as Cook Islands prepare for the dropout. You see that just went straight around the on-rushing defence. Kennedy Harrison-Vahua, the player that didn't manage to get a hand to that. And it will be Kerry Matua to get things going again with the dropout. France attack it, this time a bit more depth and distance on that dropout coming from Cook Islands. We've seen some short ones as this game's gone on. And France with the possession. Goes to Mansard. Whoa, big hit there from Matua again on Mansard. She will have felt that. She might know about it still in the morning as well as Ramos takes the ball. I think the French players there stunned as Syria breaks through. Syria goes. Syria's in. A second try of the game. Elisa Syria for France.
Oh, absolutely fantastic, you know, just that little edge needed from France, a little bit of joy. They've got the success. They've been pushing down and pushing down. They've been putting their bodies on the line and they've been really trying to give it to them. And I'm so glad that France have got those few extra points there just to push themselves a little bit closer. Is it too little too late? Maybe, I hope not. But again, a little bit of a missed pass, a panic pass comes from a great run, a great play of the ball, and then just opening that gap there for her. She's got some wheels on her for sure, that girl, hasn't she?
35 years old, Elisa Syria, playing in a second World Cup, showing her experience there. And she might not be captain, but she certainly led that side tonight.
And you say second World Cup, they didn't play in the 2017 World Cup in Sydney, so the last time she played was 2013. Just shows how long she's been playing in this French side for. She's an absolute stalwart. I've played against her myself, absolutely phenomenal player. And, you know, she's really been pivotal in this French packet over the last few years.
Elisa Syria. I was going to say, I wonder if noise puts her off kicking, but the crowd died down. And that goes wide. So nothing added on for Syria. Can't convert her own try. 26 points to 18. Cook Islands lead. Cook Islands certainly in front, just not quite shaken France off. While we're waiting then for play to restart, Danica, who is your Kazoo player of the match this evening?
Oh, look, Sharon, there's a number of players, and, you know, I want to just pay tribute to some of the girls from France. You know, Fanny Ramos has been absolutely outstanding, probably one of the smallest players on that pitch, but her tackle count is up there at the top. But we've got to look at that Cook Island forwards pack. For me, there's been plenty of girls that have pushed it forward. But the pivotal person that's carried, she's tackled, she's offloaded, and she's got the metres, is their number 13. My Kazoo player of the match is Alana Walton for Cook Islands. Just fantastic, pushing herself forward, pushing that team forward. And her yardage and meterage must be huge tonight.
So the Cook Islands captain bringing her experience to the field as the knock-on comes right from the kick-off from France. They do the good work, they come up with the error, and they will put themselves back under pressure with Cook Islands with the scrum. So close again to the line.
Time is off, you've got to stay there.
The French packing down there really quickly just to the time off. As soon as you pack down, that time goes off, so you're gaining marginal seconds here that just might make that little difference.
Matua then at first receiver, sends the ball out. France having to come in as Cook Islands look to get a bit more pace around the edges. Dean to Matua, offloads to assist to Matua.
I'd love to be able to say that. Imagine playing in a World Cup alongside your sister. That must be fantastic.
It'd be brilliant, especially as twins. I know they've got a very close bond, those two, as well, as the ball goes out wide. Was that a little knock-on coming in from Wiki? Yeah, the referee indicates that that is a knock-on. I think a bit of cramp now as well from Melanie Bianchini.
And I'm not surprised, you know, the amount of effort these French girls have put in. Just a silly spill there from the Cook Islands, just pushing that ball a little bit too much again. But a little bit of respite for France there, just to hopefully get down this field.
So we see there Eliana Walton, the Kazoo player of the match, a two-time World Cup winner with Australia, playing for a country of heritage this time around. To France then. Ball in and away.
Isn't it fantastic that we've seen it in the men's game and the guys choosing to play for their heritage, but the women's game is growing so much that there's that option for the women, and hopefully in the next World Cup we'll see a few more of the Pacific Islands coming into play and more chances for the girls to really play for their heritage countries.
Still big challenges coming in from Cook Islands. That was probably what you say there, Danica, highlighted by when Cook Islands played New Zealand. There were family members against each other. There was players that had played together for other countries. It was wonderful to see a proper family on the pitch.
And
literally.
you know what, it might just spread the wealth. You know, Australia have been such a dominant force, and maybe there's a few girls in there that have got a chance to play for their heritage countries in the next World Cup.
As Cook Islands pounce on a loose ball with Tupu Wichman. Dean goes from acting half to Kitai. France defending, final few seconds of this game now. Cook Islands on course for their first win, their only win of this tournament. And it looks as well like the intent is still there to try and get more points on the board before that final hooter goes. Dean from acting half, it goes to Walton. Lovely step from her, with the handoff as well. Tries to aim for the centre of the post. The defence is there again. Good work from France right on their goal line. Dean again, sends the ball wide. The space in the corner, the pass can't be taken. And it's knocked on for the last action of the game, meaning Cook Islands come up with the win. But two sides, Danica Bream, who really wanted that tonight.
Yeah, what a fantastic way to end their World Cup, and what a great game. You know, there's no standout score. There was a real competition there for the most part of that game, and yes, both wanted it, both wanted the spoils, both wanted their egos to be rubbed a little bit, and the pride and passion of that. But that game was some game, and I think to come into a game of the final game of a tournament and to still fight like they both did then, it's just a massive, you know, credit to both sides there, and a fantastic game, and well done to both. Fantastic well from France, I want to say. Massive well done to those, and the Cook Islanders, you really put it to them, and you really deserve that win.
So the final scoreline here this evening at York, France 18, Cook Islands 26. So Cook Islands celebrating with each other, getting their only win of this tournament this year. They have battled. It was a battle. They held New Zealand for so long. This evening, they take the spoils against France, who end the tournament winless. But France, they showed character tonight, particularly on the goal line against some fierce attack from Cook Islands.
Oh, look, do you know what? France have defended. We look at their sets in play and their back-to-back sets that they gave Cook Islands through errors or possession, and they still kept putting it to it. You know, we talk about those three sets that they had back-to-back, and France held them out until the very dying end, putting their body in front. Fanny Ramos, I've got to give a big shout out to her. She was up there for me in contender to play the game. On the losing side, however, one of the smallest players, but she was throwing herself into contact. She had no fear, no respect for her body, and she was there to do a job. So credit where it's due. I thought they were just absolutely fantastic tonight.
It could